So, today's video is going to be a bit more of a vlog because I'm working on the thing that I started yesterday, the album, right? That's what I want to work on, is an album. Maybe like 9, 10, maybe 11 tracks, 11 songs. But the thing is, I want it to be like a story, right? Like a follow the 3-act story where it's like a rising action and falling climax and falling action, that kind of thing. That's what I want to do. And as I'm sitting here brainstorming and trying to come up with some ideas, I'm realizing that in terms of writing story or narrative, usually for example, like with D&D, when I come up with stuff, it's usually laying in bed, like closed eyes, half asleep, tuned out of every other thought, and then I hyperfixate on something, like I come up with some idea and I'm like, ooh, that's cool, let me dive into that, and then I do that. So sitting and trying to like focus on doing something creative is interesting. Like, I'm realizing more and more, I know this, but I'm realizing more and more and trying to make peace with the fact that my creative process is a lot of time just sitting somewhere with my eyes closed and like meditating on it, rather than in a structured way writing things, because for those that speak astrology, like, very Piscean, very dreamy, very like escapist, very like that kind of energy, very ADHD is the secular way I would explain it. Just like, also, pardon my hair, I showered just a little bit ago, so it's like very heavy. It's drying out. So I'm trying to like make peace with that and do something with, turn it into something useful. Like, it's just, the thing is, like, in terms of coming up with like a finished product, that's not the best like method. Like, for these videos, I can't exactly just sit here, close my eyes, and zen out for 45 minutes and expect it to come across in a video, like, that's not how that works. What I wanted to try to do tonight was maybe like work on some motifs, like some broad strokes in terms of like whether it's character motifs or thematic like motifs. And I've come up with a little bit of stuff here and there. I know I want it to be like a western-y kind of thing. I know I want it to be all acoustic, mostly acoustic guitar. Like, for example, just a minute ago, I was playing around with this little thing. It's in 7/8. So, let's see. There we go. So yeah, something I was just playing around with. Now the thing about that is, it's an A basically with a sus, with the second scale degree and the fourth scale degree, so it's like sus4 and sus2, right? Yeah, sus4 and sus2, so it's like very sus, very sus. So it's, it's kind of uncertain, it's kind of in flux. Not really in flux, more just uncertain, all those things that we associate with the suspended chord. I'm trying to wrap my head around it, trying to think, what can I do with that? Like, is that anything yet? Is that just a chord? Like, that's not really much of a motif. Like, I want it to be more distinct, like that's a sound. It's a sound that could probably be given, to something, but it's not really like, it grabs you, If you hear that, let's say it's in a movie and you hear that, it doesn't make you think like, oh, that's Hedwig's theme, for example, from Harry Potter, or that's like the Superman theme. Like, you don't hear that and you're like, that. No, that's a vibe. That is a vibe. That is not a motif. So, yeah, I'm kind of all over the place. I want to make it work. I want to turn it into something. And I'm realizing just that, like, so here's what I have. I wrote down a little bit. It's like, this is some work on world building for the world that I want to that I want to set this thing in. And, like, it's some stuff. But it's something substantial. It's like, my mind, the thing is, like, when I try to, it's sort of a blessing and a sort of a curse. When I sit and just close my eyes and let my mind wander and try to just explore the world that kind of already exists in my head, then it goes a lot quicker. But the thing is, I might not be as targeted. I'll develop stuff, but I won't develop it in the areas that I want to develop it. Whereas if I do this, it's just painstakingly slow, but I usually stay on track. The thing is, with this, I always get so distracted. I always go into left field, and so maybe just trying to figure out a way to work with that. Like, if I'm writing this down, don't be afraid to write everything down. Don't be afraid to write every single thing, but it's just like, see, this is this right here. This is why I love having a collaborator, because it is a conversation. And usually when I write something down, or not when I write something down, but when I talk to somebody about something, it becomes a more salient memory. But when I write it down, it's just like, I get stuck in that spot, and it kind of arrests that free-flowing thought kind of process. So maybe I just need to try both. Maybe I just need to sit and meditate on it for a little bit. Start by meditating. And I know I really need to, again, remember that, like, this is an album, it's a 7 songs, 7 to 9 to maybe 11 songs kind of thing, where, like, it's going to be a lot of editing. It's going to be a lot of going back and changing stuff. It's going to be a lot of, like, deliberate work, which, am I ready for that? Am I ready for that? Do I have the musical, like, technical know-how for that? Arguably, maybe the raw musical intuition is enough, but at the same time, in terms of doing something deliberately, trying to make it cohesive, I don't know, maybe I'm not ready for that yet, and maybe I need to be okay with that, and maybe making this just as is and not worrying about it being perfect is something, again, that needs to come from this. I've done lots and lots of smaller projects that I'm okay with being fine. But the thing is, if I ever dedicate a bunch of time to something, I've always wanted it to be perfect. And I don't think I have the skills yet to pull that off. I don't know, maybe I do, and I just have to try. I don't know. Either way, it's late, I'm tired. Camp is still brutal. We're getting there. I mean, it's what, the 27th today, So 1 month. 1 month until Berkeley. 30 days. Crazy. All right. See you tomorrow.